Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but before that, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Rich Paul reveals he's glad he didn't know about the Luka Doncic-Anthony Davis trade. In an appearance on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, Gil's Arena, top NBA agent Rich Paul set the record straight on his involvement in the trade that sent Luka Doncic to the Lakers in exchange for Anthony Davis. According to Paul, not only did he not know about the trade, but he believed it might never have happened had anyone found out in advance. 99.9% of the time, I'm going to know what's going on. The one time I didn't was the one time we all didn't, said Paul. It was a shock to everybody who was in it. Was a shock. I always knew the affinity that was had for AD from Nico's perspective. So the destination wasn't really a shock. The timing of it was a shock, and who was involved was a shock. But you don't move mountains with everybody knowing. You can't. So I'm glad I didn't know. I'm glad whoever else didn't know, because it probably wouldn't happened if you did know, because now you start to open up the opinions and the can of worms. So you can't get those things done with people knowing. When the Lakers traded Anthony Davis earlier this season, it came as a shock to pretty much everyone across the sports world. Nobody trades a superstar at 25 years old, but that's what the Mavericks did, and many are still looking for a reason why. Rich Paul is primarily known for being the agent of LeBron James, 40, but he also represents Anthony Davis, 31, and has huge ties to the Lakers. As one of the most powerful men in the world at his position, Paul is normally the first to know when big trades are in the works, especially when they involve one of his clients. In the case of the blockbuster Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis trade, not even Paul saw it coming. At least, that's what he claims. Other reports claim that Paul knew about the trade 48 hours in advance. Regardless, the talks never got leaked. The trade was allowed to happen behind closed doors, where no media or fans could speak their minds. It's no secret that the Doncic deal has caused mass outrage across the NBA community, and Mavericks fans have already made it known that they disapprove of the team trading their favorite player. The scene around Dallas has been borderline toxic, and if word had gotten out that the Mavericks were even considering dealing Luka, people would have gone crazy to get GM Nico Harrison to avoid making the trade. Instead, the two sides met privately and kept negotiations tight for weeks to not let anyone spoil the deal. Teams are still pissed they never got to bid, but in the end, the Lakers and Mavericks got what they wanted. For the Mavericks, it's a champion and defensive-first big man who better fits their culture, while the Lakers got a young offensive superstar to lead their next era of prosperity. The Mavericks see it as a win-win, but it's clear that the fans don't agree. They have been doing everything in their power to reverse the trade, but there's no going back now. Luka Doncic is a Laker, and he'll have the rest of his career to take revenge on the Mavericks for giving up right when he hit his peak. Mark Williams expected to make Hornets return against Lakers after failed trade with same franchise. The NBA trade deadline saw a blockbuster trade fall through after the deadline passed, as the acquisition of Mark Williams for Dalton Knecht and 2 first-round picks between the Los Angeles Lakers and Charlotte Hornets fell through after Williams failed his Lakers physical. Williams has stayed away from the Hornets since their failed attempt at trading him, while Knecht has already returned to the court for LA. Williams' return to Charlotte is expected on Wednesday night. In a hilarious coincidence, the Hornets face the Lakers on Wednesday, meaning Williams gets to return against the team that was supposed to be his new home. Mark Williams has rejoined the Charlotte Hornets and is probable for Wednesday's game at the Los Angeles Lakers. Williams had not rejoined the Hornets following his rescinded trade to the Lakers until after the All-Star break. The Lakers agreed to acquire Williams, but the trade was rescinded following the physical. The reason for Williams' return to Charlotte being delayed compared to Knecht's return to LA was because the Hornets tried challenging the trade at the league office. They weren't happy with the Lakers citing a physical as the reason behind nixing the trade, but as the deadline had passed, neither team could do anything about it. There was a similar case between the Dallas Mavericks and Philadelphia 76ers when they exchanged Quentin Grimes for Caleb Martin, as Martin failed his physical due to a hip injury. Instead of canceling the trade, the 76ers added a second-round pick to get the Mavericks to accept it. They could do this because Martin's issues came to light before the deadline had passed. If Williams had failed his physical with time left in the deadline, the Lakers could have negotiated a different trade package to retain the center. Unfortunately, they couldn't justify acquiring Williams at the cost they paid with his injury concerns, so it was easier to cancel the deal and look for a center in the summer instead. Williams is averaging 15.6 points, 9.6 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks this season. While he's had injury concerns his entire career, he seemed to be moving past them over the last 2 months. He will hope to have a healthy end to the season, as it's all but guaranteed the Hornets try moving him again in the summer. If Charlotte doesn't shop him, he definitely will request a trade after seeing the franchise move him without telling him and then go out of their way to ensure he couldn't return to the franchise by challenging the Lakers' physical. This should be a revenge game for Williams, as he would want to prove to the Lakers they made a mistake by not just accepting him. The Lakers still don't have a real center on their roster, with Williams likely easily outperforming available bigs like Alex Len and Jackson Hayes. With LeBron James also listed as questionable after missing the All-Star game with an ankle injury, the Lakers will have to be careful heading into this game. It's expected to be the first Luka Doncic game where he's fully in charge of the offense, especially if LeBron sits. Given that Doncic was the one who wanted Williams, it'll be interesting to see how he performs against what'll be a motivated big man. Lakers get big news on Luka Doncic, lingering calf injury. The Los Angeles Lakers will be at full strength coming out of the All-Star break, which has provided needed rest for stars Luka Doncic and LeBron James. Lakers head coach J.J. Redick spoke with media members on Tuesday, February 18, and confirmed that Doncic will face no minutes restriction when LA returns to regular season action against the Charlotte Hornets on Wednesday night. "He'll be fine," Redick said, per Mark Medina of Fox Sports and Athlon Sports. That extra 5-6 days of All-Star break was good for him. His minutes will be up tomorrow, and I don't think that there's going to be any sort of restrictions going forward. Doncic has been battling an injured calf, a muscle that has caused him issues on multiple occasions in the past. The calf injury was part of the justification by the Dallas Mavericks for trading Doncic to the Lakers for a package that included Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and an unprotected first-round pick in 2029. Mavericks brass contends that the recurring injuries to the calf are related to poor physical training on the part of Doncic, who has shown up to camp overweight multiple times. That said, Doncic is a 5-time first-team All-NBA player and led Dallas to the NBA Finals last season against the Boston Celtics, even despite dealing with multiple injury concerns. Doncic turns just 26 years old on the final day of February and may not yet even be in his prime. He captured the Rookie of the Year award in 2018-19 and has finished in the top 8 of MVP voting in each of the 5 seasons since, including finishing in the top 5 on 3 occasions. Doncic has career averages of 28.6 points, 8.6 rebounds, 8.2 assists, and 1.2 steals per game. Doncic has played 2 games as a member of the Lakers, both against the Utah Jazz. But he has played just 23.5 minutes per night in those 2 contests after missing several weeks due to his latest calf problems. Doncic is putting up 15 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 4 assists over that stretch, though his numbers should jump significantly as he gets healthier and more acclimated to his new teammates and system. James also got a full week off after missing a regular season game against the Indiana Pacers with foot and ankle injuries. Due to those issues, he chose to sit out the All-Star game, breaking a streak of 20 consecutive appearances with an eye toward the future. With 30 games left and us trying to make a playoff push in the Wild West, I felt like it was very important for me to kind of take care of myself and understand what's coming, James said, per Dave McMenamin of ESPN. The Lakers come off the All-Star break with a record 32-20, which is good enough for the number 5 seed in the Western Conference and just a half game back of the Houston Rockets for the number 4 spot and home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. And you, fan? What do you think of Luka Doncic situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.